Hello, everyone. I wanted to kind of go over why I'm here in this race, how it's had a direct effect on my family, and what I bring to the table. Important part to remember for this story is I have a son who's a middle schooler. He is deaf and he's legally blind. So he can see, but he legally is blind. There is a difference. And he has some other issues too. This year, when the kids were all virtual, the last school year, my son was going to school 4 days a week, 2/3 of days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesdays was their cleaning day. So he was getting some education, and then we were working at home as best we could. So back in January, on January 26th, the board had a meeting, and Baron Braswell made a motion because they were having bus transportation with the special needs buses. So Baron Braswell made a motion without talking to the superintendent or the director of special needs to pull the special needs kids because of the transportation issues and turn them all virtually. And that motion passed 4-3. And the incumbent actually voted against it the way I would have wanted her to vote. And this is why I say it's about the politics of the thing and how she's running politically, not her voting record that I'm running on. And the school system was great. They started notifying parents that night and the next morning. That's how we learned, because unlike most of you, I don't watch those school board meetings unless there's a reason. So the first thing I did is I got on the county website because I wanted to call my rep to find out what was going on. I couldn't do that. I then got on Facebook. She didn't have a Facebook page. So the only thing I could do is I just emailed every school board rep there was, and I just said Kirk Twig was 100% right as far as the damage this was going to do to the special needs kids, and Baron Braswell was wrong on this. And I laid out the case of what they were doing to my son. Several school board members responded. Kirk Twig responded and was helpful during this process. Baron Braswell was amazing, and we ended up in multiple phone conversations, which is what led me to where I'm sitting in front of you right now. Erin Gramp responded and explained her stance on it, at least. Ms. Phelps, on the other hand, what she did was, say, yes, you have valid concerns, but instead of dealing with the issue that I was contacting the board, forwarded my email to the director of special needs, the same department that had told me what was going on, saying, help this man. Well, of course, special needs knows what's going on and knows the people they need to help. And it just kind of showed she really didn't understand how to do things. Because the issue was a board decision, special needs department were kind of hamstrung by everything. So Baron Braswell and I started talking. He called me, and I give him credit. We got very passionate in our discussion. He was the first one to bring it up because I was explaining the situation and how my son and other kids were damaged by this decision. It was something he hadn't even thought about. And that's when he first started saying, hey, we need somebody like you who could come and actually be willing to communicate. Because here's what it turns out is Ms. Phelps has refused. I voted for her because she said she wanted to bring civility to politics. Kids don't have a D and an R next to their name, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I've talked about it before. But she came to the board and she refused to give any of the chair people in her tenure her phone number. Erin Gramp for 1 year, Baron Braswell for 2 years, and currently Don Shelley. None of them have her phone number. You're not willing to talk to them. So if your constituent had a problem, how is she going to deal with it if she won't communicate with them? So in all the stuff back and forth, I had to inform Ms. Phelps what was going on, how I was getting it fixed, because she was unable to because she couldn't talk with her other board members. And so I got Baron Braswell to agree on the next week. I think it was February 3rd, they were having a budget work session. I got Baron Braswell to agree to bring it back up and that he would change his vote, which would then be 4-3 to bring the special needs kids back right away. And I had to tell her what was going on because she doesn't communicate with people. And that's when she finally gave me her phone number. She's like, 3 hours before the meeting, she emailed me, wait, we're going to be discussing this? Call me. So I was on my phone. I called her within 2 minutes, let's say. Got a voicemail. So I responded back a few minutes later, said, here's my phone number, call me. So they had the meeting that night. She never called me that night. They had the meeting. Now, here's what's funny is at 8 o'clock at night, roughly, Dr. Baker's going through the capital improvement projects, talking about how we're spending millions of dollars. She sends me an email during that whole process saying, oh, you're right, it looks like we are going to discuss this tonight. I would think she should be listening to how we're spending millions of dollars. And so the motion came up, and the board actually voted to reverse that decision, 7-0, bring it back the following Monday. The first time she actually called me was the next evening, 24 hours after I fixed the problem, to thank me for fixing it, saying, you don't understand what you did, how you did it, what you were saying, and the effect it had. And I'm like, yeah, I knew what I was doing. Why didn't you? And it was Mr. Braswell during our conversations who, as I said, first asked me to do this. And then I started talking with some other friends as I'm dealing with this whole board thing, because I'm not a politician. This is not what I want to be doing in my life. But I called some other friends on other school boards saying, hey, here's this problem I'm having. And as I'm describing it to them, without even telling them that Baron Braswell had asked me to run, multiple friends on different boards said, Rich, why don't you run? And that's what seriously had us considering doing it. And the final decision was when Ms. Phelps called me to thank me, saying I didn't understand what I was doing. And that's when I realized she didn't understand what she was doing. It is about the politics, and the politics hurt my son. They're hurting your kids because you can't get anything done. People say, Ms. Phelps will fight for us and she'll argue for us. And she makes very passionate pleas from the dais. But what does she actually accomplish? She can't, because she can't talk to the other board members. You don't get everything you want on a board. You have to work together. I come from the business world. It's a business negotiation. You could call it politics, you can call it business. It's still the same. To make a deal, I have to talk to somebody who might want something different and find a way to work together. That's what I bring to the table. That's what I want to do. That's why you need to vote for me. And let's get the politics out. It is about the kids, not about the politics. It's also about effective representation, as I was saying early on, because we need these agendas off and just focusing on our kids. I will focus only on what's best for our kids and what we need to do. Thank you. As always, kids, not politics.